Wow, Monica. I can't believe that while that title card was playing, you suddenly got clairvoyant powers and you knew that like something bad was going to happen to me.
Yeah.
And then we prevented it from happening, which led to me becoming a female spider character, and you went blind.
I know.
I can't believe all that happened in like
I died as well.
And you died and came back to life.
Yeah.
That is crazy. We're going to talk about Madam Web now. Now, Monica, even though you're blind, I feel like your clairvoyant powers will be able to help you read the plot of Madam Web. Yeah, there you go.
I'm going to focus and see. Madam Web tells the standalone origin story of one of Marvel Publishing's most enigmatic heroines. This is where it
What? They're all enigmatic?
The suspense-driven thriller stars me, Dakota Johnson, as Cassandra Webb, a paramedic in Manhattan who may have clairvoyant abilities. I do.
Oh, she may have it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch a movie where they might have a superpower.
Forced to confront revelations about her past, she forges a relationship with 3 young women, one of them right next to me, destined for powerful futures, if they can all survive a deadly present.
Yes, who is... God, what's the bad guy's name in this?
Hold on. Ezekiel
Sims, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Madam Web.
Uh-huh.
Here's what I know about the character.
Yeah.
She's an elderly lady. And she like sits in a chair and like will hit up Peter Parker and go like, "Hey, Peter Parker, spider shenanigans are about, and you got to do this and you got to do that." I've learned since then that they have done newer versions of the character where she's a little bit younger. But this is like not a super well-known character, and the people who do know her are me, who go, "Isn't that like the old lady who like psychically talks to Spider-Man?" Monica, real quick, before we go any further, let's have a nice refreshing Pepsi.
Okay. Wait, where?
Oh, there you go.
I can't see.
Oh, no. Your clairvoyant powers can't help you?
I'll get it at some point during this review.
Pepsi is very refreshing, though. We can all agree, right?
Yes.
Just for the taste. Oh, wait, no, that's Diet Coke. What's the Pepsi slogan?
I don't know.
Pepsi, yeah. So that's what I knew about the character. She's a psychic lady. And then I saw like the trailer for this. And I'm like, you know what? What an interesting idea. Because we know she's supposed to be older in the future. But what if she was younger? She's like, wait a minute.
What if at one point she wasn't an old person? At one point in her life, she was normal age, I guess.
But I was like, you know what? I'm kind of... I liked what the trailer was saying. I'm like, all right. She's meeting the girls who will one day be 3 different versions of Spider-Woman. Mm-hmm. Will they all have the same name? I think they all have like varying names. They're not all Spider. I think only Sydney Sweeney might be called Spider-Woman, I think. But there's a guy who knows the future, and it's like Terminator. He's trying to stop them from becoming Spider-Women. She's going to help them with her clairvoyant powers to make sure they become Spider-Women.
Yeah.
To counteract them. Like, you know,
Girl power.
That's a fun idea. A little Final Destination-y, a little Terminator-y. And then I saw the movie Alone on Valentine's Day.
Aww.
I was like, well, I'm alone, but Sydney Sweeney will be there for me. And Celeste O'Connor, which is everyone's favorite Ghostbuster, right? She's Lucky.
Oh, that's who she is.
Wow. Someone's not a luck nut. Where are my luck nuts at? We love Lucky. She's our favorite. We all love Lucky.
Sorry.
Remember that scene with her in Ghostbusters Frozen Empire?
I remember her making the sex dungeon joke.
The joke there is like she was such a background character. She had like no part in that because she was so busy doing Madam Web, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was sitting in the theater. I'm like, I'm going to give this movie a shot. And I remember texting you at the time because everyone said it was like the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember texting and being like, well, it's not as bad as everyone's saying. Like, it's fine here and there. But then I did do a commentary track. So this is, by the way, this is the third time I'm talking about this wonderful film. We did
Oh my God. Like
Yeah.
the 3 Spider-Women now. It's 3 times your top.
Yes.
Rule 3.
Yes. And yes, Monica, I did dress up like the other ones. It was a little problematic.
I can see that.
You know, apparently you're not supposed to dress up like a black person or a Latino person. I learned. That's why I picked Sydney Sweeney for this one. No, so I covered it on the wrap up when it first came out, the infamous February 2024 Hack the Movies wrap up. And then when it hit Netflix, which I felt came like right after it was in theaters.
It was pretty quick, yeah.
Me and Kaylee did a commentary track.
Okay.
And I wanted her in there because I wanted someone who knew nothing about Spider-Man. Because Dakota Johnson said you don't have to know anything about Spider-Man to enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
The only thing she knew is that she saw like each Spider-Man movie once and forgot them. And they shot the second Andrew Garfield in her garbage town of Rochester. No offense, Rochester. She always is hyping up Rochester. And I'm like, the crime rate is so high there.
People love their towns, okay?
So I had her do the commentary track with me, available at patreon.com/hackthemovies, or you could just buy it without pledging, but it's cheaper if you pledge. Yeah, Dakota Johnson was wrong. Kaylee had no idea what was going on. She didn't really understand any of the Spider-Man connections. But you, who knows Spider-Man, you're a hardcore Madam Web fan, right?
Oh my God. Love her.
Honestly, what did you know about her before this? Or are you like me? You're like, oh, that's the psychic lady that talks to him sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, my memory of her was pretty small. I was like, yeah, I know she's a character in the comics. And same thing. I was like, I kind of remember her being like an older woman. That's about it. You know.
She's like psychic. I know she's part of stories, but
Can you see?
I can see. It's just bunching up into my eye. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, Sydney Sweeney, she had the eye holes cut out of her costume, but in the comics, they're white. I am more committed to this than Sydney Sweeney was, apparently. Yeah, so I gave the movie a shot, and when I watched it on the commentary track, like the second time, like, oh, this is pretty garbage. I think I was enjoying it in the theater because of how silly and stupid it was. But after you watch it once and watch it again, you're like, oh, this is pretty bad. This is pretty bad. I don't know. How do you feel about Madam Web?
I think it was cheesy. I definitely like it was a fun when they included like the bits of like, oh, she's working with Ben Parker is her paramedic partner.
With the guy from Hellraiser 4.
My favorite, Adam Scott. And then, then they also got fucking Emma Roberts in the movie to be Aunt May. No. She's Peter Parker's mom.
Yes. Aunt May is mentioned. Ben mentions he's dating someone.
Yeah, Ben mentions he's dating May. And it's like kind of awkward because I guess Madam Web really wants to date Ben Parker.
Yeah, it comes off the way. My problem with Dakota Johnson, there are some scenes something must have happened during production.
Okay.
There are some scenes where she's pretty good and into it, and then for most of the movie, she's just reading the lines, seeming bored as hell. And I'm like, something happened.
I definitely think they probably like kept changing it on her.
Yeah.
And that's probably where she got to the point. Because remember, she was pretty not extremely vocal about it, but like saying when she signed up for it, it was much better.
Yeah. Then, I mean, that happens with a lot of these. They get focus
she was kind of promised it was going to be a lot, and then changed.
SJ, what's her name? SJ Carpenter? Is that her name?
SJ Clarkson directed this.
This is her directorial debut for film, right? Because she did a lot of TV.
Yeah, she almost did Star Trek 4.
Sorry, my wig fell. Yes, she was supposed to do the Kelvin timeline, Star Trek 4. And then Chris Pratt and what's his face? No, not Chris Pratt. Chris Hemsworth and who's the guy who played Kirk again?
Pine.
Chris Pine. They had a dispute over pay, and that movie died. So she never got to make that Star Trek movie. But lucky her, she held out and she got to do Madam Web. I think Sydney Sweeney agreed to do this if they greenlit her comedy. Anybody But You, or Anyone But You, right?
Yeah.
Starring my boy Glenn Powell. I still haven't watched it yet.
That's a cute movie.
I'm sure it is. I'll watch it at some point. Apparently, she agreed to be in this if they greenlit that, and then that movie made way more money than this movie. She seemed like she had a good time on it. All the girls look like they had a good time on it if you watch the behind-the-scenes footage and shit.
Yeah, I mean, they got to just run around and they got to dance on tables.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. This is definitely like a guy wrote this. Like, what do teenage girls like to do? They like to dance on tables.
To Britney Spears.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I've seen girls do that. He's like, at a diner. I'm like, no, they don't do it there. They don't do it there. I've seen girls dance on tables, not at diners. Oh, that's another thing. It's set in like 2003.
Yes, because obviously, as we mentioned, I don't know Peter Parker's mom's name, but Mama Parker is pregnant with Peter Parker. So this is technically, this is the birth of Spider-Man.
Yes,
really.
we don't know what Spider-Man.
We don't know if it's going to be the Tom Holland one,
well,
Andrew Garfield.
I think that's what they wanted it to be because that's the only one that makes sense, kind of. But then it can't be Andrew Garfield. The timeline doesn't work out. So it's got to be just its own Spider-Man. Its own new Spider-Man. And honestly, this section of the movie where they're just trying to make sure, like, you know, she gives birth to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That should have just been more of the movie. I would have liked if, like, these girls are being hunted, but they also have to make sure Spider-Man is born because he's, like, super important to all their origins, apparently.
He's the glue that holds their universe together.
Yeah, he really is. He's their anchor being, as they're called.
Yeah.
So I like the idea. There's good ideas in this, but then there's just shit that makes no goddamn sense. This is one of the worst villains ever, but at least it's not just... Actually, no. It kind of is, because they do have super suits, but they only wear them in the future scenes. But he is an evil Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is part of the movie that really threw me off, because I was like, so you're telling me by the time Peter Parker gets bit by a radioactive spider, becomes Spider-Man, no one has ever seen anybody else in a spider suit, but yet this movie is telling us that there was a villain that went around terrorizing the city in a spider suit, and then there's 3 other spider women running around helping save the city.
And the reason he got the spider hole thing is because what is it?
Spider hole?
Huh?
The spider hole?
The whole spider thing. The only reason he got the whole spider thing, God damn it, this hurts my eyes so much.
Just pull it up. Now you look like a heavy.
Now I know why you cut the eye holes out, Sydney Sweeney.
She's like, I'm not doing this.
She's like, I'll do nudity, but I'm not covering my head. The only reason he has that spider suit is because in the Amazon, there is a spider worshipping tribe that has magic spiders that can cure illness and also give you powers, implying that the spider that bites Peter Parker might be one of these spiders.
Yeah, because it seems like somebody probably went back to the Amazon to research these spiders and brought one back.
Yeah. And I'm like,
possibly, yeah.
That makes Spider-Man like less unique now because he's like, oh, I'm gonna dress like these guys in the Amazon dress, and then that one bad guy who terrorized the town. But I looked up Ezekiel Sims because that's another example where the character's supposed to be older, and they do show him in the future just with like gray powder in his hair. But that character does have like some spider powers, and he walks around barefoot, which this actor does. He's always walking around in a suit barefoot. That's what the character looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I appreciate that you are trying to be accurate to the character, but you never explain why in the movie, and it's very distracting. And it gets worse when he switches into his spider suit, because I'm like, well, now he has shoes on? And it's like, what happened to his business suit? My theory was, I'm like, did they start shooting it with Ezekiel Sim, and they were like, this is a boring character. let's give him a costume. Because there's scenes where like he's communicating psychically and it's switching back and forth between the spider suit and his suit. I'm like, did they shoot scenes multiple times?
Probably.
That whole thing where he attacks him in the subway looks stupid as hell when he's like crawling and shit. So yeah, the spider will give you powers of crawling and clairvoyance. And the clairvoyance, I guess, is supposed
And
to be...
he's strong, too.
And he's strong. And the clairvoyance, I assume, is the spider sense. And she has that because her mom was bit by the spider in the Amazon.
Yeah, she just gets like a washed down version.
Yes. But there's that... The movie tries to treat it like a mystery. But like right away, I was like, oh yeah, the spider bit her when she was pregnant. That's why she... Like, I figured it out, like, right away. So when it's, like, revealed later on, she's like, but I don't have that disease. Oh, you did it to save me. I was like, yeah, we know. We're way ahead of you, movie. How dumb do you think we are?
We figured it out, yeah.
The best joke in the movie is the Martha Stewart one.
I don't remember.
They mentioned Martha Stewart, but in 2003, that's when she was, like, getting in trouble with the law and had to go to jail. And Sydney Sweeney's like, it's so sad what's happening to her. I had a fun time making fun of this. It was enjoyable.
You're making it worse.
It was enjoyable to make fun of. I'm never gonna watch it again. Sydney Sweeney's hot as hell, but she's playing like a high schooler, so they couldn't make her hot as hell. And I'm like, why am I even watching this? Yeah, it is a mess. Where did they get their costumes at the end?
Well, that's them in the future, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, wait, do they all get bit by the spider? And
well, this is where it really doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man's supposed to be a little bit, like we said, the anchor being, basically.
Yes.
And they're all doing spider shit before him.
It's like the show Gotham, where everyone is being all Batman-y.
Yeah.
Before he ever becomes Batman. It's like, oh, okay. Or like Smallville, where like all these major Superman things happen before he ever puts the costume on. I just thought it was funny when they're all in their suits at the end, because like Madam Web, like she's blind and she's wheelchair bound because she falls into the water. Oh, I like that it ends at a fireworks factory. I didn't realize that until Kaylee pointed out, and it's like the Simpsons episode where they're watching Itchy and Scratchy and they're going to the fireworks factory, but then it keeps like derailing, and Millhouse is like, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory? I'm like, holy shit, they end up at a fireworks factory.
With the big Pepsi Cola sign.
Oh, God,
yeah. Which they have to fight on and everything. And yeah, she like, I guess because she falls in the water, she becomes paralyzed. Like, I guess the way I
guess something hit her spine. But when
mean, you can get paralyzed falling that far into the water, but it didn't seem like. But
it was like, I think a firework hits her in the face. That's what blinds her.
Yeah, that blinds her. She also tries to save the other Spider Girl, Spider Woman.
But they managed to save Spider-Man. But like, it's weird because they're like, wow, Ben, everything turned out okay everything's good now. And she's like, that's what he thinks. I'm like, I think the movie wants it to be like, oh, he doesn't know his uncle's going to be Spider-Man, but I'm in the theater, be like, you should probably tell him he's going to get shot. Can you give him a heads up on that?
you know, unless you're just real pissed about him not picking you. I don't know.
Because like Peter got his spider powers before Uncle Ben died. Uncle Ben could have been there to like guide him, I guess. But instead,
he could have been like, yeah, I knew all these spider people before you were born.
He's like, yeah, actually, a bunch of them helped your mom.
Yeah. You're not the first spider person.
My favorite moment is when Ezekiel is going to kill all of them. And then Cassandra drives the ambulance through the parking garage. But then he jumps up to get hit by it. And people point it out and they're like, oh, if he just like stayed or went to the side, she would have just crashed and killed all of them. He actually jumped into the direction of it for no reason.
He's like, no, we have to save Spider-Man.
The only scenes that are done well is when he's like killing them and then it resets. Like those are kind of fun. Well, he kills them brutally at some point.
Yeah, he does.
He like snaps their neck on like the diner chair. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, he's real obsessive about killing them.
Yeah. What is it? Sydney Sweeney, she's got the Venom suit like this one. And she can shoot like laser webs. That's like her power in the future. And then the other
Psionic webbing.
Yeah, and the other one is like a techno spider woman.
So that is your lucky head. She's like the one that's iron spider-like arms as part of her suit. And then Isabella Merced, who is Anya Corazon.
Yeah.
She's from Alien.
Romulus, and she's gonna be.
And she's Dora the Explorer.
Yes, and she's gonna be. I think she's gonna be Hawkgirl in the new Superman movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's really.
They're blowing up.
Future visions of her show that she possesses similar powers to Spider-Man and has throwing discs that can come back to her.
Yeah. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I don't know who any of these Spider Women are. I know Spider Woman, the one who can fly, and that one.
I mean, I recognize Maddie Franklin because she's part of the Into the Spider-Verse. Isn't she the one that, like, in the second movie, she's trying to, like...
The pregnant one?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. That one, I guess. I didn't connect that those were the same ones. Can we talk about the costumes? How much footage do you think in the movie is there? Like, what is the length they wear those costumes total in the movie? It's got to be like 30 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably less than.
They put it in all the trailers, all the advertisements, everything.
You're supposed to get really excited about, like, all this spider action happening.
Yep. And it's not even like it builds up to them wearing it and then they have it for the finale. They don't even do that. It's just in the flash forwards. I would have liked if those scenes went on a little longer so we could have gotten some spider action. But there's nothing. I hate Ezekiel. He's the worst villain, I think, so far.
Yeah, he's pretty boring as a villain.
He's like, I have powers, but these three girls will challenge my power. And it's like, well, they kind of just live in New York and you just move and have your power somewhere else. He kills the girl from Crossing Jordan. That old lady he kills, that was the star of the show Crossing Jordan. Remember that show? Used to play on TV?
Oh, yeah.
She's also the lady from RoboCop 3.
Okay.
That was just a fun fact that happened when I was like doing the RoboCop 3 thing. I was like, what has this girl been in lately? I'm like, holy shit, she was in Madam Web. I had no idea. Who is his assistant?
Oh, she's from Girls.
Yeah, but I mean, like, is she like a spider character? Who the hell is she? And why is she working for him?
I don't know if you put her on your list.
But like she seems like conflicted about it the whole time, and then she never like.
She's Amaria, a gifted hacker, and Ezekiel's research assistant. I don't really know if she's in there.
So stupid. Yeah, she like does really nothing. You keep waiting for her to betray Ezekiel and help the girls, and then she just never does, I think.
Yeah, she's kind of like... I love at some point she does seem to have a conscience, and she's just like, ooh.
I didn't realize they'd be so young. And it's like, okay.
I didn't realize we were murdering people. I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Ugh. Yeah, remember... Oh, wait. I love that, what's her face? She leaves the girls at some point. She's like, hold on, I gotta go. And she takes her stolen taxi cab. And then I guess she boards a plane to the Amazon and meets with that guy. And then like comes back and is still...
Oh, yeah, that part's hilarious.
She's like, hold on, I gotta go to the Amazon for like a week.
And it's like, really, she left them in the woods. And it's like, oh, you've been gone for like 2 days. And I'm like, no. This timeline's not matching up very well, but okay.
Remember when she taught them CPR and they framed it very erotically? Do you remember that scene?
I do remember, yeah.
I remember watching that. I'm like, I feel uncomfortable. Like, I don't know. I'm like, because it looks sexual, but I don't think it was meant to be sexual. But the way it's framed, like they're not really showing the dummy. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this. But yeah, this one at least had an idea.
Yeah.
Future stuff, Terminator stuff, and they completely fumbled it and fell on their face. And that end. Oh, one of the shots at the ending is borrowed footage from Spider-Man 2. The shot of it going up the buildings. They're just like recycling footage, which is something you could do, but don't steal it from like one of the 2 most famous Spider-Man movies. We're gonna notice. Yeah, it's a disaster. But is it the worst thing ever? That remains to be seen. People really didn't like it though. I just realized oh, you're figuring it out in the future.
I think I have my answer. Oh, wait.
I just realized they released 3 of these things in 1 year.
Damn.
This has been a busy year for the Sony Pictures Marvel Universe.
It goes down so easy.
So yeah, the more I talk about this movie, the more I realize it's a disaster. What are your final thoughts on Madam Web?
I think it's a fun disaster.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad that, like, you could have fun watching it. And just being like, what is going on here? This doesn't make sense. But you know what?
It's cute. I said it in my review and like the commentary. I'm like, it's cute. Like they were trying to make a movie and they didn't do a good job. But I hope someone had fun at least. But yeah,
Dakota Johnson didn't, but somebody did.
So Dakota Johnson definitely didn't have fun. Maybe Emma Roberts said she liked the movie. She's like, I thought it was fun. I think the internet memed it. I did like Sydney Sweeney on Saturday Night Live. I mean, I actually watched Saturday Night Live, but I saw the part of the monologue. She's like, you might know me from this. And she's like, you might not know me from Madam Web. I would see a Sydney Sweeney Spider-Woman movie. I'd probably see all three of them in the Spider-Woman movie. I actually was just like, can we just get a Spider-Woman movie? Do we have to do this weird time travel thing? I don't think we're going to see Madam Web ever again.
At least not played by Dakota Johnson.
No. Well, they get an older woman to play her in the future. That's how they write around. They're like, oh, she's old now. But yeah, Madam Web didn't do so well, but that's okay. Because Sony then gave us Venom, The Last Dance.